Hey, Dozy said, thinking small and enormous is a bar. I felt that. Peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints. And when I say think enormous, when someone comes and does a consultation with me, the first thing I want to know is, well, how much money do you want to make? If it's less than $1 million, I don't even really want to talk about it because it's not exciting. It's a waste of both of our time. So what are we doing? If you're running a business that's not making $1 million, to me, it's not even a business. $1 million, you can't even have 10 employees. You can scarcely have 10 employees. You need to be thinking enormous, ambition. But when I say you need to be able to think enormous and also think small, okay, so we're thinking enormous, $500 million, $1 billion. That's enormous. Now let's think really small. What's the first step I need to do? What's the one next step I need to do? Maybe there's 1,000 steps. Maybe there's 1,000 steps, but I only need to know the next step. I only need to focus on one step. I only need to figure out this one small thing. That's it. So you have to be able to think enormous and small. The problem is that most people can't think enormous and be real with themselves. You see, they can talk about Elon Musk as a billionaire, but they can never see themselves as a billionaire. So they can't really sustain enormous thoughts. And then number two, most people can't even think small, meaning that they're not able to focus their mind exclusively on the next step and then get it done. They start to do what's called procrastinating, which is really just the manifestation, the behavioral manifestation of your thoughts. And the thoughts are fear. The thoughts are lack of self-belief, low self-esteem. My parents didn't believe in me. I don't have a college degree. All these different things. Those are your thoughts. And then it manifests in your stagnation, your lack of activity. So you have to be able to think enormous and also small. Furthermore, I would encourage you all to understand the difference between greed and ambition. Greed is blind and emotional, whereas ambition is educated and rational. When I say greed is blind and emotional, greed is when people think that they can make money without working. Cryptocurrency, NFTs, silly things they don't even understand, but they're going to make money on it. It's blind. It's emotional because everyone's making money on NFTs. Everyone's making money on Bitcoin. I got to buy some. It's emotional. Well, the time in which your emotions are heightened and you feel like you got to buy some before you miss out, that's the very, 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 very worst time to buy. The very worst time to buy. That's emotional. Ambition is educated, meaning that ambition says, okay, I'd like to buy some real estate. We've just observed that the markets are starting to tank. That being the case, maybe they'll tank a little bit more. I'm going to hold back a bit. Now let me think about which market, i.e. which geography I want to buy real estate in. I do know that there was a major exodus from California due to the COVID stuff. A lot of people moved into Vegas, so that market might be even more inflated than most markets. Some of the markets that hold steady in real estate are generally, like Midwestern markets like Chicago's pretty steady. It's a good anchor. The Northeast generally stays, very strong. We're talking about, New York type situations. That stays really strong. So let's see some of these situations bottom out. Where will I get the best deal?
Lee says, peace to the saints.
Peace of the saints.
Subadai sent $50.
Baller alert.
It said, grateful to you, Marquette. Your wisdom, personality, and background is unmatched by any man mentor. I'm at your service whenever and however needed, my brother. Peace to the saints. That under the influence of others chapter reminded me of when I had to run 2 fades.
Look, it's only a couple of us that ran 2 fades back to back. Real one to do that. It's a beautiful thing. It get like that. I prefer not to, but if it got to go that way, hey, let's rock. That chapter, under the influence of others, that's such a powerful chapter in the black box because so often we are under the influence of others and we don't realize it. And I like to use that wordplay in relation to under the influence of alcohol, because it's a similar thing. When you're under the influence of alcohol, that means your mind is not working correctly or you're not using your mind. And when you're under the influence of others, your mind ain't working right or you're not using your mind. That's our biggest challenge, is that we don't want to use our own brain. Sometimes you're around people who are well-intentioned and good meaning, and you use their brain at the wrong time, it'll lead you astray. Especially sometimes you follow a woman's brain, and that ain't the right thing for you to do as a man. If they don't have your instruction, they're gonna lead both of you to destruction. And that case being when I was on that airplane and Shorty said, "You gonna let all them pass us up?" Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're not in a rush. The beauty of our life, we ain't never in a rush. But engaging in an argument with like some random Dominican single mom, that wouldn't have been a good look for the big homie. I don't know what consequences could have resulted from that. So I use my own brain in that situation, but that's not always the case. We are all susceptible to not using our own brain. But that's the key, is staying awake. And I remind all of you, it's not how intelligent you are. It is, do you remember? How often you are intelligent, how often you're using that brain. And that's the key. Keep your thinking cap on. I pride myself on what I don't know, which is to say that I'm so hyper focused on my own affairs. I'm so hyper focused on how is Marquette going to, make money today? How's Marquette going to be happy today? How is Marquette going to contribute today? How is Marquette going to have rich relationships today? That there are a lot of things that I cannot be aware of. Often I'm out somewhere and someone will say like, "Hey man, how many horsepowers does your car have?" I don't know, man. I didn't buy it for that. Or they'll say, "Hey man, you watching the game?" Probably not. But should we watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
Last time, yeah.
That's what's up. Someone might say something like, "Oh, hey, who are you going for in the Super Bowl?" Or I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl. I'll probably be there. You feel me? I'll probably be there with some good seats, or I'll be at some fancy event for the Super Bowl, but I'm not there for the football. I'm there because it's an exclusive event and I want to meet the other people who are like me or better off than I am. So I have to shut out a lot of things, and I trust that you all will too. And I just want to make you all aware of that, is that sometimes, when you catch one thing, you have to let go of something else. So in as much as that's the case, I'm rarely up on the latest internet stuff, the latest YouTube stuff, and sometimes, other things that are interesting or relevant. And that's why I rely on being around intelligent people and I can learn from them. I've stated before that I think this is actually in my book, The Black Box. In this book, I state that being around intelligent people is like reading books. I'm going to say that one more time. Being around intelligent people is like reading books. And what I mean by that is intelligent people are likely to speak from wisdom. They may have gained some wisdom from a book. They may have gained wisdom from experience, expertise, what have you. So being around bright people, you're going to get all the benefits you would get from reading a meaningful book.